Mike, check 1212. It's the Y2K collector, and I'm currently sorting out the top 50 most valuable GameStop pickups so far for the year. That is a video that I'm going to be coming at you with. But while I was doing that, I figured it'd be cool to come up with the top 10 most shocking finds at GameStop. So I wanted to show 10 games that I was just absolutely shocked to find at a GameStop in 2024, because I think it does kind of show you a glimpse of the potential of what you could find at a GameStop depending on where you are. So without doing too much jabbering or blabbering, we'll go ahead and start with this one right here. So I actually walked into a GameStop. One of the employees was nice enough to let me know that they were going to be having some games come off trade hold. This game had come off of trade hold over the summer. And when I walked in, they had this in the store for, I think, 12 or 15 bucks, which for this version of Spider-Man, this is basic, there's so many versions of Spider-Man, but this is the Spider-Man that's based off of the animated series that used to come on Fox, which is honestly the best Spider-Man cartoon. I don't know which was better, Spider-Man, the animated series, or X-Men, the original X-Men, the animated series from like 97, or the original The Adventures of Batman. Like those are some intense cartoons, but I'm not going to get off on a tangent with that. I was shocked that they had this at GameStop, and this was definitely underpriced. This has to at least be like a $22 to $25 game loose on the Genesis. So to be able to pick it up for like 12 bucks was really, really sweet. This is one that I actually need to sell because I do have the Super Nintendo version of this game, and I think I'm going to keep that version instead. So this will probably be going into a box for me to flip, but this was definitely a very cool find at GameStop, and I was shocked that they had this. I knew that they were going to have some games because honestly, you kind of, if you go to GameStop enough, you have an idea of what they're going to have there. Even if they say that they have retro, you already have an idea of the PS3 and the Xbox 360 games they'll have. You even have an idea of some of the NES and like Super NES games that they'll have. But when you see like something like this, it's usually kind of like, oh, wow, I didn't expect this. So this was definitely a shocker. Okay, so the next game that kind of shocked me was this copy of Sonic Rush Adventure. Now, for those of you who don't know, there's two versions of this game. There's just the Sonic Rush, and then there's Sonic Rush Adventure, which has some more content in it. I think it has some more features to it, but it's basically like a just another like 2D side-scrolling kind of Sonic game, but then there are also like some 3D components to the game as well. Opens up into that 3D world. I think this is a very cool and somewhat underrated game. I actually had just the regular Sonic Rush for the DS a while back, and I actually wound up selling that. So when I saw this at GameStop, I was shocked to actually see it, because they don't have a lot of DS games at GameStop, but this one was also, the condition of this one shocked me. This was like new condition. This was almost new, I would say. I want to say that this one probably just came from their warehouse, and this was one of their like GameStop new games that they probably just had sitting around, and it was just shipped to a store near me, and I picked it up. But I was shocked to find this one, pleasantly surprised. This one was 24 bucks, so not bad. I think that's pretty close to what the market price is for this game. I think this is like a $24 game, but this is a really good one. If you're into Sonic, you still have your DS, definitely check this one out. I was shocked to find this one. Really cool game. Really cool game. All right, this was another find that I got over the summer. This one shocked me. So Shovel Knight. I don't know if Shovel Knight was as popular on the DS as it was on the Switch. I know when I first started getting into the Switch, I had never really heard of the Shovel Knight game. And I originally played this on the Switch and was quite pleased with the gameplay. This is kind of like it, this is kind of like that 8-bit style, like action platforming game, which I thought was pretty cool. The game mechanics were cool. But I actually wound up selling my Switch copy when I sold off a bunch of my Switch games. And this was one of those ones that I had regret selling. Especially when I played games like The Messenger and stuff like that. I just kind of had a feeling to want to play this game. So, and that's funny because I even had I bought the stuffy or the plushie, I guess. They have like a little plushie that I bought for my daughter, of the Shovel Knight character. And I kind of always wanted to get this one back in the collection. And I walked into a GameStop and they actually had this one there for $19.99. So, and then of course, you know, the pro member discounts and stuff. And I think I actually ran into this during their buy two get one. So this one was a pleasant surprise. I was shocked to see this one because this is definitely one of those DS games that go flying off the shelf. When people see this 3DS game, they definitely want it. I know it was a huge popular Switch game, and so this was one that I was glad to actually find. I was shocked. I did not expect to see this one when I walked in, but they had it there, and I went ahead and snagged that one up. Okay, here's an interesting story on this one. So this one was a shocker for multiple reasons. One, it's not every day that you walk into the GameStop or any GameStop and you run into like complete in box PlayStation 1 games. So I was just stoked that I ran into a greatest hits PlayStation 1 game. It almost didn't matter what game it was. Typically, if it's a greatest hits, it had to be good on some level. But this is the SpongeBob SquarePants Super Sponge game, and this plays kind of like a side-scrolling platformer, if I'm not mistaken. Very interesting game. These SpongeBob games are not bad games. They're actually pretty fun. Like once you start playing them, they're really fun. Because I picked up SpongeBob Bikini Bottom on the GameCube this summer. I found that at GameStop as well. And it's cool because that one was like only 13 bucks. But that's a very fun game too. It's like a 3D kind of open, like a 3D platforming adventure game. Very cool one on that one. But cool story on this one. This was actually free at GameStop. So I guess someone tried to sell this game or trade this game in at GameStop. This game did not come up in their system. And so whenever the games that, like if you try to sell them a game and it doesn't come up in their system, they just don't take it. And I guess over the summer, a lot of people were just like trying to dump their entire collection. So there were some people who, like, I guess if GameStop didn't take it, they would just leave it there. And GameStop was just giving games away to whoever wanted it. So this game was part of like a bucket of games that GameStop had. I walked in there one day and they were like, hey, yeah, we didn't take it. And the person who sold it to us didn't want to keep it. So if you want it, you could have it. So I actually opened it. I was like, let me see what it looks like. And it was complete in box, you know, in pretty good condition. I was like, oh, this is a good condition game. So I was shocked, man. I was shocked. A perfectly good PlayStation 1 game at GameStop just sitting there. So I took this home and I'm going to keep it. This is actually going to stay in the collection because it's actually a pretty fun game. So that was definitely a shocker. Okay, this one definitely shocked the fire out of me. I remember posting the video on this find. This was a day that I think I got this game the same day that I got that SpiderMan animated series. I just walked into that GameStop and they just had a bunch of like, that GameStop had more retro than probably most retro stores today. They had like an original yellow Game Boy. They had Dreamcast games, Sega Genesis games, NES games, Game Boy Advance games. They had like, that store that day was the closest thing I had ever felt to a retro GameStop with the amount of retro games they had there that day. It was just crazy. And it's funny because that location, even before any of this retro stuff, they used to always have like N64 games. I used to pick up N64 games from them. I picked up a bunch of retro stuff from them. I think they just have a vault back there somewhere where they just, every time they clean it out, they find new stuff. But anyway, I walked in and they had this copy of House of the Dead 2. This was 15 bucks at that. Complete in box Dreamcast game, very good condition. House of the Dead 2. I actually have the original House of the Dead on the Sega Saturn. So this one just felt right to add to the collection. $15 game. I was not mad at it. This isn't an expensive game by any means. I think this might be like a $20 to $25 game. So to get it for 15 was definitely a good deal. I was glad about it. So went ahead and added it to the collection. Again, whenever GameStop has these games complete in box, it's always cool to see. And so I was just shocked that that was even in their inventory. Of course, this wasn't on a shelf or anything. I did have to ask to see their retro. But once they did start pulling out their gems, this is one that I was glad to find. And I'm sure there were way better games, way better Dreamcast games. I just got there late and missed out on the really good stuff. But this was still cool to find at the store. This was another shocker. So if you go to GameStop enough, you know, like, you kind of have an idea of the PS2 games you're going to find there. You're going to find the Final Fantasy, 12s, and you're going to find the Kingdom Hearts, and you're going to find God of War, and, there's always, like, the same PlayStation 2 games that you find there. So whenever you see something different, it's like, whoa. So this was definitely a game I did not expect to see at GameStop for a PlayStation 2 game. This was Samurai Showdown Anthology. So this is like a very, very cool. I'm a fan of Samurai Showdown. I actually grew up playing Samurai Showdown on the Game Boy, the original Game Boy. I did not have a Neo Geo or anything like that. That's kind of where I spent. That's the system that I played most of my Samurai Showdown. Like, I spent most of my Samurai Showdown time on that console. So to find this was really cool. I almost passed on it, but of course, when I asked, it was complete. The disc was in really good condition. So, and the best part about it was that this game, they had this there for $9.99 during the 4 under 10 for 20. So with the pro membership, this actually came in at $4.75. So I was not mad at all. I wasn't gonna pass up a complete Samurai Showdown for $4.75. I thought that was a good deal. So I went ahead and snagged it up and added this one to the collection real quick. For $4.75, you can't beat it. And then speaking of PlayStation 2, this one completely blew my mind. I actually had a copy of Rogue Galaxy before I sold like half my PS2 collection. I sold off a lot of like the cheaper games. Rogue Galaxy, as amazing of a game as it is, it's remarkably cheap. I think on eBay, this can't be going for more than like 22 to 25 bucks. And it used to be cheaper than that. This used to be like a $15 game. GameStop had it there for 13 bucks. So I think it was 13 bucks. I got to go back and watch the video, but I'm pretty sure this was like 13 bucks or something. Which I thought was sick for Rogue Galaxy. Because the thing is, a lot of the copies that I see online tend to be jacked up. I don't know what the deal is, but whenever I go look, I was looking for this game to add it back over the summer. This is around the time that I picked up like the Red Star and like Seven Samurai and Hulk Ultimate Destruction and Spawn Armageddon. There was like a few PlayStation 2 games I was trying to get back in the collection, and I was looking at Rogue Galaxy. Oh yeah, Bukenjai. I can't remember the name of that one, but that was another one that I was trying to get back. But anyway, a lot of the copies of this that I saw were just thrashed. Either the artwork was severely water damaged. It didn't have a manual, but lo and behold, walk into GameStop and they have this bad boy fully complete in box, all the inserts as well. The manual was in like great condition. I always check the corners. Look at those corners, man. Look at those corners. Look at the spine. No wrinkling on the spine. Like, all that stuff like impresses me whenever, especially for GameStop. I get impressed when I see like good condition stuff like that. And again, for 13 bucks, good stuff. I mean, look, GameStop, if they do it right, there's so much potential for them to do this retro thing right. I just hope they don't jack it up by like messing with prices and like, I don't know. There's potential there because I found so many good games at GameStop over the summer. I just hope they don't jack it up. But either way, was totally shocked to see this. I was like, whoa. I mean, they had even more expensive PlayStation 2 games there, but I think this was the one that really shocked me the most because I just wasn't expecting to see Rogue Galaxy there. So this is a really good find there. This was a shocker. This was a real shocker. So Blood Rain 2, I actually had they re-released this Blood Rain and Blood Rain 2 limited run, did a re-release on both of these games for the Switch. I think in the PlayStation 4. I'm not sure if it was on the PlayStation 4, but I know for sure it was on the Switch. And I had both games. I had Blood Rain and Blood Rain 2 on the Switch. When I sold off a huge chunk of my Switch collection, I got rid of a lot of like limited run remakes and stuff. So I got rid of both of those. And I decided to pick this one up. This was $9.99. Got it during a 4 under 10 for 20. So this was another $4.75 pickup. No manual, which is the bummer. And I feel like this case is like a rental case. Yeah, this is like it came like a Blockbuster case, which I thought was actually really cool. I mean, No manual, but that's pretty dope, right? Like Blockbuster, man, how often do you see a Blockbuster case? I thought that was sick. And for some reason, this doesn't feel like a, I'm pretty sure this isn't a Xbox case. I'm pretty sure this is a GameCube case. So this is actually a GameCube Blockbuster rental case. But either way, there were so many things about this that just made me want to pick it up. The fact that it was an original Xbox game, the cover art was in good condition, it seemed to be in a GameCube case, and it was Blockbuster. All of those factors combined made this one a pickup for me. So picked it up, was glad I did. Added it to the collection for sure. Another shocker, another Xbox One. I don't run into a lot of Xbox One stuff at GameStop that isn't Halo. Like, if you're an original Xbox lover, you're gonna run into 1,000 copies of Halo, Halo 2. That's at GameStop all day. Castlevania though, Curse of Darkness, that's not something you see every day, and I was shocked to see this at GameStop. This one was a bit of a shocker for me. They had this one there for $19.99. I think at the time it was still the 420 for 40, so I didn't get like any like major promos on this. But I think I did use some of my GameStop points on this one. I also used, obviously, the Pro membership. You got some discounts. So this one probably came in at roughly around 16, 14 or 16. Not bad for an original Xbox game. I do have this on the PlayStation 2, so it's not like something I didn't have already. But condition, not bad. The manual is a little dinged up. It's not in the best shape. But still just really cool to see like original Xbox games of this caliber. And it's not like this is the most rare original Xbox game, but this is a solid Xbox title. I was shocked to see this one. So this one was definitely a pleasant surprise when I got there. And last but not least, this complete inbox copy of NBA 2K1. So cool story on this one. This was another free game that I got. So this was, I went to a GameStop. Someone had to try to trade in a ton of games, from Super Nintendo to Genesis to Dreamcast, the whole 9 yards. They took in a bunch of them, but this game was one that they were not able to take in. I guess it's just too cheap. You know, GameStop was probably figuring they wouldn't be able to resell this. Even though this is not an expensive game, I feel like this would have flown off the shelf. This is a cheap game, but there's so much more to this game than the price tag. This is like a moment in time. AI, maybe it's just for me, but I have a ton of nostalgia around this game. Every morning, my morning ritual was to get up and play this game before going to school. And I just remember wanting to always get better, because in my group of friends, every day after school, we met up at a community center, and 3 games we would play is NBA 2K1, Power Stone 2. This is on the Dreamcast. So on the Dreamcast, we would play NBA 2K1, Power Stone 2, sometimes NFL 2K1. And I forgot what the other game was, but like not long after, the GameCube came out. So after a while, we would start to, like, once we got tired of 2K and Power Stone, we would then plug up the GameCube to start getting it on in Smash Bros. Melee. So, and then that was when I, got into the GameCube and stuff. But this is like, all day. I used to give guys headaches with the Milwaukee Bucks, Ray Allen, Big Dog Glenn Robinson, Anthony Mason. I mean, that was my squad. In NBA 2K, I think I used to use Miami. That was when they had Eddie Jones, Alonzo Mourning. I used to go in this game, man. I remember the teams I used to pick. You turn the energy off, so it's maximum stamina all the whole game. Just so many glitches in this game, but there's just so much novelty in this game, and I was really, really shocked to see it. I mean, whether it was free or not, I probably would have picked this up. Even if they were charging for this, I definitely would have picked this up just for the novelty's sake, because this is such a dope game. But yeah, that does it. These were the 10 most shocking finds at GameStop this summer. Totally blown away when I saw all these games. Had no idea that they would be there. but they were pleasant surprises nonetheless. Let me know what shocking finds you saw at GameStop over this past summer or even this past week, and I'll catch you in the next video. So Y2K Collector, take it easy.